And from Pakistan, we shift our focus to its close ally, China. Anything that the Chinese don't like, they alter it to fit their narrative. China rewrites the truths, it censors facts, it presents a polished version of just about any story. And whoever does not succumb to it is thrown into jail. Getting information out of China is no easy task. The country has been lying about its Wuhan virus deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. Now, Chinese censorship is quietly rewriting the entire COVID-19 story. Early in 2020, on the 11th of February, the deadly new viral infection was officially named COVID-19. And on the same day, a team of American and Chinese scientists released critical data. The data showed how quickly the virus was spreading, who was dying and when. The study was cited in multiple health warnings around the world. It was a moment of crisis, and the research was a model of international collaboration, something that highlighted the fatality of the virus. It showed the real picture of the epidemic that was taking root. But not for long. A New York Times investigation has made some startling revelations. It says Chinese researchers quietly withdrew the paper within days of its release. And in its place, a message was put out, one telling the scientists not to cite the report. On what grounds, though? For outdated information, it says. And the peculiar move was noticed by a few observers, but it quickly faded amid the frenzy of the virus, only to resurface now. It is now clear that the study was not taken down for faulty research. Instead, it was Chinese health officials cracked down on the truth. You see, they kicked up a cloud of dust around the early Wuhan virus cases. They tried to hide the details, like the real dates of the infections, how widespread it was, even the death toll. One of the American authors of the study, Ira Longini, saying, and I'm quoting, "It was so hard to get any information out of China. There was so much covered up and so much hidden." The Chinese government did everything in its power to hide the truth. It silenced the scientists, hindered international investigations, censored online discussion of the pandemic. And that's not all. China's chokehold on COVID-19 information runs far deeper. Its censorship campaign has targeted international journals and scientific databases. And under pressure from the government, Chinese scientists withheld data. Genetic sequences have been withdrawn from public databases. Crucial details in journal submissions have been altered. Chinese officials initiated this. Western journal editors enabled it. And who suffered ultimately? The general public, after all. China's COVID-19 censorship shook the very foundations of shared scientific knowledge. Scientists needed to know whether transmission patterns changed, if there were new variants, if the world should be preparing for a global outbreak. People deserve to know the actual scale of the calamity. But you see, that was not what China wanted. The country is obsessed with rewriting history. And COVID-19, of course, was a striking instance, but only one instance. Even the World Health Organization agrees, in fact. Taiwan is another example. You know it already. The country says Taiwan is a part of communist-ruled China. And for years, China has been selling this idea to the world. It is seeking to impose it on the United Nations bodies as well. Last year in April, a think tank made some revelations. It said that Beijing was using its influence at the United Nations. It was compelling NGOs to rewrite references to Taiwan. It threatened them to revise historical documents to fit China's narrative or risk losing access. China also twisted the original text of the resolution to push for one China principle, the resolution stating that the People's Republic of China is the only legitimate government of China. And this made it difficult for Taiwan to participate in UN-affiliated agencies in any way. And it doesn't stop there. China also refuses to acknowledge that Hong Kong was once a British colony. All references were scrubbed out from new teaching materials last year. Children's textbooks in Hong Kong parrot Beijing's version of the history. What China cannot rewrite, it erases from public eye. And such is the case of the Taiwanese publisher Li Yanhe. He has published many books that are banned in China. He was visiting his relatives in Shanghai when he was detained by Chinese officials. He was accompanied by writer Bei Ling. Bei reported Li's detention via Facebook. But Li's relatives requested him to take down the post. And why was that? Because it wasn't going to help. And if anything, it risked complicating the matter further. Because clearly, Chinese officials do not tolerate bad publicity. And something similar happened to 5 publishers in the year 2015. They were all connected to Hong Kong's Causeway Bay Books. The bookstore had sold a number of critical, political and gossipy titles banned by the CCP. The publishers went missing from Hong Kong, mainland China and Thailand, only to re-emerge later in Chinese detention. You see, China is averse to bad PR, and it doesn't spare its offenders in any way. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.